This is the Angry Reviewer, and today I'm doing something a little bit off the rails, a little bit something a little bit different. I'm doing this for a friend named Jason O'Connor, who's a loyal viewer of my reviews. Today I'm going to bring you a review on wrestling. Yeah, I know. I'm not really a sports reviewer, so I shouldn't really be reviewing wrestling. But if a viewer or a fan asks for something, I comply. And I'll do my best to give you a play-by-play breakdown, what I like, what I don't like, who I don't like, etc., shit like that. And hopefully it comes out good. In case you're wondering, what is that film in the background? That is Alexander with Colin Farrell. I like the film, started watching it, but as you've seen lately, personally I've been busy, had some friends come into town from Houston, spent time with them, been busy with Taco Bell, doing other stuff, and now I have free time, so I can do this wrestling review and also review the new Spider-Man trailer at the same time. First off, I want to start with the wrestling part. I'm just going to do my top 10 favorite matches for the wrestling part. And then I'm going to break down and go into detail on the Spider-Man trailer too. What I liked, what I didn't like. First off, I would have to say my number one favorite match in the ECW wrestling business would be Tommy Dreamer versus Raven. I personally liked Tommy Dreamer versus Raven because those two happen to be two of my favorite wrestlers. Period. I liked them because they had good chemistry in the ring. They left it all on the line when they would fight one another. They held nothing back. Then no fucks were given when they would wrestle one another. So for me, personally, that would be number one on my list of my top 10 favorite wrestling matches. My second favorite wrestling match, I would have to say, would be Sabu versus Taz. Sabu versus Taz, personally, to me, had a great build-up, great suspense. They kept you guessing as to when Taz or Sabu would confront one another. And it held you on the edge of your seat when the final confrontation between the two happened. The payoff was absolutely fantastic. So that right there is my second favorite top 10 match. Now on to my third favorite top 10 match. And a lot of you might like this one. A lot of you might not like it. I'm not going to say I don't care because I respect my fans. But for me, my second favorite top 10 match would be Jericho versus The Rock. Jericho versus Austin when he won the Undisputed Heavyweight Championship and he beat two guys in one night. I love the way Jericho played off The Rock in his match against him, and I love the way he played off of Austin in his match against him to become the Undisputed Champion. Personally, I thought that was a big kudos to WWE for allowing that to happen. Jericho and The Rock always had great chemistry, especially when he first came out and The Rock blatantly insulted him by telling him he wrestled Juventud. And Austin always had chemistry with everybody he ever wrestled. Some of his matches were hit or miss. Some were good, some were bad. That's hence the hit or miss. But most of the time, he could tell a good story in the ring, and it worked. It worked with Jericho, and it worked when he would wrestle The Rock. And I thought Jericho played off well with Austin and played off well with The Rock. So that right there is the reason that is my third favorite top 10 match. And that's from WWE. My first top two were from ECW. This one's from WWE. Now on to my fourth favorite match in my top 10 list. And that would have to be Sting and Booker T versus the LOD. It was a night when Sting needed a partner and Luger couldn't do it because he had another match coming up. And he was going to take on the LOD in a Chicago street fight. And he was walking around the WCW backstage and looking for a partner to help him combat the LOD. Well, Booker T and Stevie Ray stepped up. And they said, hey, if you give us a tag title shot, Booker tells Sting, I'll team up with you. And of course, it happened. Sting agreed, well, yeah, I'll give you a tag title shot if you agree to team up with me. That being said, the match happens and it went off without a hitch. The match was flawless. I liked it. I liked the chemistry that Sting and Booker had. I liked the chemistry between Luger and Stevie Ray helping Sting and Booker. Yeah, they used underhanded tactics. They handcuffed Animal in the back so he couldn't get to his partner Hawk. Hawk was always a great wrestler in the ring, even when he had his downfalls with drugs and drinking because of Jake the Snake. But you can't really put it all on Jake because Jake just had the stuff. Hawk didn't have to take the stuff. So that right there, that is my fourth favorite match in the WCW era. Sting and Booker T versus the LOD Chicago Street Fight. My fifth match in my top 10 list is gonna be RVD versus Sabu on WWE ECW. The ladder match that they had. RVD and Sabu always had great chemistry together. They worked wonderfully well off of one another, and the match was a big payoff. That match right there showed why ECW, the spirit of ECW, was still alive. Why them two were great fit for ECW, and why the fans could really rally behind them. That ladder match was flawless. It was fucking great, and I loved how it came together and how it worked well because these two men knew each other so perfectly. So yeah, I mean, WWE ECW might have had its flaws and it might have imploded within itself, but that was one match that they gave us without a hitch, and it worked, and I liked it. So that is my fifth match in my top 10 list. My sixth match is going to be, and you know where this is going, it's another WWE ECW match. RVD versus Bob Holly. When Bob Holly got the split in the back, he got his back cut open, and he continued to wrestle even though he had a gash in his back, and it was nasty. He cut himself on a table when RVD suplexed him. The table was broken and it cut his back, but Holly refused to quit the match. He kept on wanting to fight, and it showed why Holly earned the name Hardcore Holly. Because the man could be literally bleeding out of his back, and he refuses to quit. He refuses to stop. He refused to quit. He showed what type of person he really was and what heart he had. And RVD played well with them. They had great chemistry in that match. I personally liked it. So that for me is my number 6 in my top 10 matches. My number 7 match, I would have to say, would be Mike Awesome versus Spike Dudley. Mike Awesome versus Spike Dudley, that's another ECW match. I loved how little Spike kept coming and coming and coming and coming and wouldn't stop. I don't remember too clearly if he won or lost, but I do remember what caught my attention when Mike Awesome literally picked him up and threw him in the crowd, and he had them crowd surfing him. That right there was awesome. It also happened with Bam Bam and Spike, but it also happened with Mike Awesome when he fought him. Spike was one of those guys. He was another Crash Holly. Mikey Lockhart, God rest his soul, that you either liked or you didn't. You could get behind Spike. And Spike had the charisma to help make you want to get behind him. He was a likable character and a big staple of the ECW Dudley Boys faction. I liked it. I'm sure you did too. And that is my number 7 in my top 10. My number 8 would be the Hardys versus Edge and Christian versus the Dudleys in a TLC match, the first ever TLC match. All the teams in that match came together perfectly. The match worked out. It was fucking great. It was awesome. I enjoyed it. They kicked ass. They owned one another. And it was just a great send-off for a TLC match. It worked. It was flawless, my opinion. And that is why it is my number 8 match in my top 10 list. My number 9, I would have to say, if I'm just spitballing here and being honest with myself, would be when Chris Benoit finally got the big one and defeated Triple H to become the heavyweight champion at WrestleMania. These two guys were flawless. These two guys had a great match. They told a great story. They left it all in the ring. And that match went off without a hitch. Chris Benoit finally got the brass ring he so desperately needed. He became a winner. And at the end of the day, you found yourself cheering for him because he had accomplished everything he wanted to accomplish. So that would be my number 9 in my top 10. Now, the number 10 match in my top 10 matches would be from One Night Stand, Eddie Guerrero versus Chris Benoit. These two had never faced each other the whole time that they were in ECW. They never got the chance to get in the ring before ECW closed. And it was just a perfect fit. I mean, they faced before in WCW, but you really didn't feel it. You felt it when they faced in One Night Stand against one another in the ring, battling one another. It was just a perfect, flawless match. I enjoyed it. I thought it went well. No matter how the match went, I thought it was a perfect match. I thoroughly liked it. Hopefully you did. Their chemistry was great. They played off of each other well. And they told a perfect story. They left it all in the ring. And they tore shit up. That's the way it should be. And that's the way wrestling will be and should be. It's perfect like that. So That right there is my top 10 list of favorite matches in organizations. Yeah, most were ECW because I'm a huge ECW fan. Some were WCW and some were WWE. I mean, hopefully you like it. I'm the Angry Reviewer. I'm me, you're you. Now on to my review and breakdown of the Spider-Man second trailer. First off, what caught my attention with the Spider-Man second trailer was when Tony said, and I quote, "If you think the suit is who you are, then you're nothing." Iron Man has always been one of those. He's always believed you don't need the suit to be the man. It's the man who makes the suit. As we saw in many of Iron Man's movies, he really believed it's the man who makes the suit, not the suit who makes the man. And I really enjoyed it. And I like that Spider-Man has someone to confide in. When he let his friend put on the mask and put on his suit, I really like that. And I like Michael Keaton as the Vulture. I think he's going to be great as the main antagonist for Spider-Man. I really do. And I liked how they showed Spider-Man was just a kid. Spider-Man's just your run-of-the-mill person. You know, when he was trying to hold the ship together, he wasn't strong enough to do it. Did it make him look bad? No. It just showed that this is this kid with special powers that doesn't know how to control them yet. But he's learning. And the more he learns, the better he'll get. And I like the fact that, you know, they show him stumble, they show him fall, but he picks himself back up and he gets right back into the fight. And I like the little chemistry between him and his friend when he told his friend, oh, hey, when his friend goes, hey, do you know him? And it was Captain America, a fitness challenge. And he told him, oh, I took his shield. And the friend just stood there with his mouth hanging open like, you did that? And I like how they made Tony more of a mentor to Spider-Man in this than anything. Yeah, Tony's there when he's failing. But instead of trying to save the day and pick him up, he's more like a father figure, more like a mentor to him. And that's what I like. I mean, there ain't really much to say about a 30-second trailer. It's just that if this trailer is any indication of what the film is going to be, then we're in for a treat. And I'm personally down to watch it. I think y'all should go see it when it comes out. I know I am. I'm going to see it opening night as long as I'm not working. I think it's going to be great. I think I'm gonna like it. Hopefully you will too. I'm the Angry Reviewer. I'm me. You're you. I'm out.